There are certain phenomena that fascinate some people and absolutely terrify others, and lightning strikes definitely make the list. They are blindingly bright, the thunder is insanely loud, and when a bolt hits close by, there's definitely a reason to freak out. But what if, instead of striking nearby, lightning struck you? To find out, we're gonna need our favorite test subject, Gustav. What's up, buddy? Tell me, are you afraid of thunderstorms? Ever worried about getting struck by lightning? Oh yeah? Then would you let us hit you with lightning? For science, of course. Careful though, this isn't some tiny zap. We're talking a real lightning strike, the full blast. I knew you'd be up for it. No. And look at that, massive dark clouds are rolling in. Perfect timing. So what actually happens if you get hit by lightning? Will our dear Gustav have long-term health effects, walk away without a scratch, or drop dead instantly? Time to tackle today's big question. Getting struck by lightning? What's it like? So we won't be using a time scale, different sections or intensities, as everything happens in a fraction of a second. For context, the world record for the longest single lightning strike is 7.72 seconds, recorded in 2012 in France. But that's an outlier. Your average lightning strike lasts about 0.2 seconds. Since everything happens so fast, we're gonna slow things way down. Sound good, Gustav? Our story starts in the sky, because with thunderstorms, it's all about the clouds. More specifically with cumulonimbus clouds. These are the biggest clouds on Earth. They can tower over 6 miles high and only form in warm, humid conditions. Tiny droplets of water get trapped inside by swirling air currents blowing every which way. The droplets clump together and some get carried higher, and the higher they go, the colder it gets. Eventually, the water changes state. Inside cumulonimbus clouds, temperatures range from about 32 degrees Fahrenheit to -4 degrees Fahrenheit. As they rise, those water droplets freeze into ice crystals. As they keep rising, they clump together and grow. We call them graupel, or soft hail. But once those graupel pellets get too heavy, gravity wins and they start to fall. And at that point, the stage is set, the perfect conditions for a thunderstorm to kick off. Powerful updrafts and downdrafts sling those graupel pellets around so violently that they build up electric charge when they smash into other particles. At that point, the cumulonimbus basically turns into a giant battery. The falling graupel ends up negatively charged, while the rising ice crystals carry a positive charge. Is that when lightning finally strikes? Is that when things finally go boom? Not quite. Hang tight. It doesn't discharge yet because the positively charged cloud top and the negatively charged base are separated by a huge layer of air acting as an insulator. But once both ends of the cloud get charged enough, then the discharge happens, and the first bolt of lightning fire within the cloud itself, arcing from the top to the bottom of the cumulonimbus. For a lightning bolt to actually come down to the ground, we have to wait a bit longer. Remember how I said the bottom of a cumulonimbus cloud is negatively charged? Well, it gets so negatively charged that it pushes away the negative charges in the ground, kind of like two magnets repelling each other. So the ground ends up positively charged. Then the electricity just needs to find a path through the air to meet the ground. That's when you get a cloud-to-ground strike. So why does lightning hit tall things such as trees, church steeples, radio towers, if all it wants is the ground? Simply because air is a good insulator and lightning naturally looks for the shortest, easiest path. Anything that sticks out gives the lightning a shortcut. And in this case, the thing sticking out is our guinea pig. Don't worry, Gustav, we've got you. Truth is, getting struck by lightning is very rare. Statistically, your odds are about 1 in 10 million. For comparison, it's still 300 times more likely to get hit by lightning than to win the lottery. And even if you do get hit, lightning kills about 10 to 20 people per year in France, Gustav's home country. That's roughly 20 to 30% of those people struck by lightning. So yes, there's a risk of death, but odds are you walk away just fine. All right then, now we just wait until he... Oh, well that happened fast. Let's freeze frame for a second, because a lot just occurred all at once. Our poor guinea pig got hit by a direct strike right to the head. But that's not always how it happens. For instance, if Gus had been standing next to a tree, the bolt would likely have hit the tree first simply because it's taller. But a chunk of that electricity could still have jumped through Gus, since the human body conducts electricity really well. That's exactly why you should avoid taking shelter under trees during a thunderstorm. Case in point, in 2016, a group of people gathered under a tree in a park in Paris during a thunderstorm to try and take cover. The result, 11 people were struck by lightning at the same time because they were all under the tree that got struck. But hey, our guinea pig didn't even need a tree nearby to get zapped today. What path does lightning take through your body? It's kind of a gamble and nearly impossible to study since it happens in a flash. For our demo with Gustave, we'll assume the bolt entered through Gus's head and exited through his feet, the most commonly affected entry and exit points. Quick reminder though, a lightning bolt is a brutal electrical discharge that can hit about 54,000 degrees Fahrenheit. That's roughly 5 times the temperature of the surface of the sun. In raw power, a typical bolt can peak around 20 gigawatts, which is huge. Think the momentary output of about 20 nuclear reactors. Wait, so does that mean that Gustave really had the power of 20 nuclear reactors go through his body all at once and he still survived? It's a bit more complicated than that. I'm talking about power when what actually goes through Gustave is energy. Power is how much electricity is being delivered at a given instant, measured in watts. Energy is how much gets delivered over time, measured in watt-hours. So while a bolt can peak at around 20 gigawatts, the total energy is much smaller, roughly 140 kilowatt-hours, which is about the average amount of energy a household uses in around 10 days. Sure, that sounds like a lot, but if you added up all the lightning energy that hits France in a year, it would only power about 5,000 households. And remember, a single lightning strike often branches into several channels, so you could be hit by a side branch of the strike rather than the main bolt. Bottom line, the actual energy our dear Gustave takes on can be even lower, but it's still one heck of a jolt. Anyway, back to our guinea pig. Take a look. Once lightning enters the human body, it can follow several paths on its way out. Most of the time it travels over the skin, which is slightly moist and conducts electricity pretty well. But with a bit of bad luck, the current can run through internal organs, especially the heart. If the lightning bolt runs through the heart, that's an instant heart attack and game over. Luckily for our test subject, that's not what happened to him. The current runs over his skin instead of through the organs. That doesn't mean he's not hurting though, far from it. His whole body just took a massive shock. Lightning survivors often describe the feeling as unbearably painful. And that makes sense because wherever the current travels, skin or deeper tissues, it leaves a trail of burns and internal damage. How bad it gets varies from person to person. As always, age, underlying health conditions, or general frailty make things worse. But if you're in good physical shape, like Gustave, your body has a better shot of surviving the strike. Lightning only courses through Gustave's body for a few hundredths of a second. To lightning, Gustave is just a shortcut to the ground, and that's actually what saves him. The energy passes through him and keeps going. But if he were in the air when the lightning struck, with no connection to the ground, the energy would get stuck inside his body, and that would be fatal. As you can see, Gustave's hair caught on fire. You know, with lightning at around 54,000 degrees Fahrenheit, that's more than enough to light up his lovely mop of hair. Let's put that out. It's much nicer that way. Notice the black scorch mark on his forehead. That's the entry point where the lightning entered his body. He'll have a matching mark where the lightning exited as well. Even if the bolt didn't hit his head directly, the shock still rattled him quite hard. His heartbeat is slowed and barely detectable. At this point, he needs immediate medical attention, and trust me, his troubles aren't over yet. Remember how I said lightning leaves a trail of internal burns? Well, here they are. Those branching patterns are called Lichtenberg figures, and that's just what you can see on the surface. If the current travels beneath the skin, the burns might not be visible at all. You'll need scans, blood tests, and close monitoring to spot and treat the damage. Statistically, there's about a 70% chance he'll have lasting complications from his little face-off with Zeus, and the worst part is, some effects may not show up until months after the lightning strike hit him. Among the possible after effects, you can see things like hearing loss, vision problems, blood clots, paralysis, heart and respiratory failure, sleep disorders, fatigue, anxiety, depression, persistent dizziness, assorted pain, and other sensory issues. In short, a lightning strike has something for everyone. To be clear, most lightning strike survivors only experience some of these symptoms. Ever heard of Roy Sullivan? He was an American born in 1912 and died in 1983 who completely defied all the statistics when it came to lightning strikes. I won't spoil how many times he was struck by lightning just yet, but let's just say the chances were something like 1 in 100 cotillion. Written out, 100 cotillion looks like this. Roy worked as a park ranger in the Shenandoah National Park in Virginia, which means he spent a whole lot of time outdoors. The first time he was struck by lightning, he was 30 years old, out in the park near a lookout tower when a storm rolled in. Moral of the story, don't stand next to tall things during a thunderstorm. After that incident, lightning left Roy alone for more than 25 years, until one day, driving his pickup through the park, he got hit by lightning again. That might sound surprising since we're always told cars are pretty safe in a storm. That's the Faraday cage effect. A Faraday cage is basically a shell that blocks electric fields. Lightning can't get in or out, so whatever's inside stays protected. Cars work this way because of the electrons in the metal body, the classic everyday Faraday cage. Except that day, Roy was driving with the window rolled down, so the car didn't help him at all. The lightning went straight through the open window, but the lightning still wasn't done with Roy. Barely a year later, he was struck a third time. This time, he wasn't even at work. He was just in his backyard. 2 years after that, he got struck again in the park. The bolt hit him square in the head and his hair literally caught on fire. The year following, strike number 5. Talk about bad luck. This time, it hit him while he was trying to run away from the storm. After the 5th run-in with lightning, he started to think something was seriously off, like he was unintentionally attracting strikes. After so many close calls, he developed a real fear of thunderstorms, but it wasn't over. He was struck a 6th time while trying to outrun a storm. He survived that one too, but wait for it, his bad luck wasn't over yet. After a successful career spent patrolling the forest and getting hit by lightning, Roy finally retired. How did he decide to relax? He went fishing, of course, and that's when lightning struck him for the 7th time at the age of 65. Once again, his hair caught on fire, and once again, he survived. The 7th time really was the last time though. He was never struck by lightning again for the rest of his life. See, Gustav, things could be much worse. That said, this lightning strike didn't finish you off. Still, let's not push our luck by heading out every time there's a thunderstorm, okay? Not everyone can be a Roy Sullivan. And because we're nice around here, we'll skip the lasting damage and the long recovery with a quick wave of the magic wand. Ah, there you are, Gustav, back on your feet. Wait, what's that you're saying? All right, now that you've survived a lightning strike, you can brag about it to the ladies, huh? Anyway, all's well that ends well for our brave test subject Gustav. Before we wrap up, just a quick reminder, what lightning does to a body depends on a bunch of factors: how strong the strike is, where it hits, and the person's own physiology. So please don't try to copy our guinea pig, but if something like this has ever happened to you, feel free to share your story in the comments below.